Last one beelining the way they came in.
He get away, you bring more back.
I got him.
The movie opens in a dystopian world where a fungal outbreak 14 years ago wiped out 98% of animal life on Earth. The collapse of the food chain triggered brutal wars, leaving farmland as humanity's most valuable resource. A group of armed people crosses a farm and approaches an isolated house. One man praises the crops while others try to sneak in, but one is quickly killed. The men outside insist they only want rest, but a sharp whistle cuts through the air, and suddenly the intruders are struck down one by one. A boy named Cookie also shoots one dead. Gunfire tears through the house, killing most of the attackers. Haley moves swiftly through the crops, eliminating men with precision, while her daughter Rain fires from the window. Her son Manny captures a fleeing intruder and brutally stabs her. With the threat ended, the family inspects the bodies and reunites. We meet Haley's husband, Galen, and another daughter, Danis. They question how the attackers breached their defenses and vow to fortify the property even more securely. In the evening, the Freeman family gathers for dinner, where the kids practice whistling signals used to warn of threats. They talk about crops, security, and daily routines. Haley assigns Manny a mission to deliver supplies to her friend Augusta, warning him not to approach strangers or get involved with anyone. In the following days, the family's routine unfolds. Fight training, drills, target practice, checking the electric fences, hunting in the woods, and monitoring CCTV cameras. Haley also listens to the radio for survivor updates and farmland reports. One evening, Augusta warns Haley about ruthless robbers who have attacked 3 farming families and asks her to come train the survivors. Haley refuses, unwilling to risk exposure. The next morning, Manny drives to a rundown building, fills a box labeled Augusta with supplies, and leaves. Meanwhile, Haley gets a chilling call. The Fleming family is dead, including the children. Worse, Augusta reveals they were eaten by a large, organized group of cannibals. On his way back, Manny swims in a river and notices a girl nearby. Intrigued, he spies on her through his sniper scope and sees her heading toward a hidden forest settlement. Back home, he can't stop thinking about her. He returns the next day, but she's gone, so he sketches her image to preserve the memory. Days later, Manny, Galen, and Danis arrive at a depot searching for supplies. As they scan the area, Danis freezes in horror at the sight of several bodies hanging from the ceiling. They soon encounter a group of soldiers and aim their guns, but one calmly explains they are military personnel living with a local family to support nearby farmers. When Galen asks if they're staying with the Flemings, the soldier confirms. Without warning, the Freemans open fire, killing all the soldiers. Then Galen reveals to his children that the Flemings are dead. Before leaving, Manny suggests checking the bodies for supplies, so Galen tells them to be quick. While searching a bag, Danis is suddenly shot from behind by an elderly woman who had been pretending to be dead. She fires once and flees. Later, Galen rushes Danis back home, where Haley performs an emergency procedure and stabilizes her. Manny feels guilty since he suggested staying, but Rain reassures him it wasn't his fault and that Danis is alive because of him. Haley tries contacting Augusta about the incident, but gets no response. That night, Manny hears noises in the woods and goes to investigate. He spots a figure in the dark, orders her not to move, and is stunned to see it's the same girl from the river, now begging desperately for help. The next morning, Galen and Haley order the kids to stay armed and alert at all times, even in their sleep. They warn that some people pose as soldiers to gather information, but in truth are cannibals hunting for more than just supplies or land. Haley firmly tells them to shoot first and never hesitate. Meanwhile, Manny secretly keeps the girl from the woods tied up in the barn. He assures her he doesn't want to hurt her, removes her gag, gives her water, and tends to her wound. When she accuses him of kidnapping, he explains that his mother doesn't trust strangers. That night, Manny returns and presses her about who she is and why she's there. She begs to use the radio, but he refuses. Breaking down, she admits she only wants to know if her people are still alive. Feeling guilty, Manny unties her. She then reveals that all she needs is a radio to locate the Freeman farm, shocking him. When he asks why, she says her aunt told her the Freemans are the only ones who can help. The tension eases, and they begin to open up. Manny talks about his love for swimming, while the girl shyly admits she saw him watching her at the river, leaving him embarrassed. The next morning, Galen and Haley rally the family for the day, but notice Manny is missing. In the barn, the girl plays his music player and dances while he watches in awe. The moment shatters when Haley and Galen burst in, and Haley drags the girl away. Manny is locked inside, pounding desperately at the door. Outside, Haley confronts the girl at gunpoint and demands the truth. The girl says her name is Dawn, a nurse in a government program helping farms. She claims her group was attacked, but Haley doesn't believe her and fires a warning shot. Terrified, Dawn blurts out that her aunt Augusta sent her, leaving Haley stunned. Meanwhile, Manny escapes the barn and rushes to the control room to contact Augusta, but gets no reply. Haley storms in, furious. Manny insists Augusta may be in danger, but Haley argues she's a Marine who can handle herself and says their duty is to protect the farm. She scolds him for falling into Dawn's trap and accuses Dawn of lying. Their argument escalates until Manny storms off. Manny then takes Dawn and drives off to find Augusta. When Haley realizes they're gone, she races after them. Manny and Dawn arrive at her camp only to find it abandoned, with no trace of life. Back at the farm, Galen notices a malfunctioning camera and goes out to investigate. Meanwhile, Dawn leads Manny to an abandoned trailer and confesses she lured him there on purpose. She reveals the cannibals captured her aunt and others, forcing her to bring him in. This, she explains, is how they take over farms, by holding families hostage. As she speaks, someone sneaks up behind him. Elsewhere, Haley arrives at Augusta's house, eerily empty with blood smeared across the walls and floors. She frantically searches for clues until a man suddenly grabs her from behind and chokes her unconscious. Back at the farm, Galen spots what looks like a deer, an impossible sight since they're thought to be extinct. But the deer is just a mask worn by a cannibal who knocks him unconscious. Two men stay behind to eat Galen, while others move toward the house. Inside, Rain and Cookie realize all the CCTV feeds are down. Rain orders her sister to stay put, then takes a rifle to the window and spots the intruders. Outside, Galen is pinned down as two cannibals nail his hand to the ground. One bites him, but he rips his hand free, stabs them both with the nail, and kills them. Meanwhile, Haley wakes up tied in a dark basement where she finds Augusta injured beside her. Back at the farm, Rain opens fire on the approaching cannibals, taking several down before they shoot back and shatter the window. Galen calls out, ordering her to fall back and retreat downstairs immediately. In the basement, Haley tells Augusta about the girl who came to the farm claiming to be her niece. Augusta explains the cannibals forced her to send her, and she feared Haley would have shot her immediately. Haley promises to get them out, but Augusta reveals she has hidden several children who must also be saved. The cannibals soon return, and their leader taunts Haley, saying she's different from others because she doesn't care about anyone else's families. Haley condemns them for eating humans, but the leader argues they're no different. She kills people too, even teaching her children to do so, all in the name of survival. As he speaks, one of the men brutally slices Augusta, preparing her for food, while Haley is forced to watch. Meanwhile, Manny and Dawn sit with three starving teenagers who devour the food he brought. Dawn thanks him and apologizes for luring him there, explaining she only did it to save her aunt and the teens. Manny understands and vows to rescue her aunt so they can all escape together. In the basement, Haley lies unconscious until a bald matter approaches to kill her. She suddenly overpowers him, strangles him to death, and grabs a rifle just as the cannibal leader enters and shoots her attacker dead. At the farm, Galen hides with the kids in the basement, but Danis is still upstairs, crouched in a closet. Galen steels himself to rescue her, warning his daughters to stay put. Haley pushes her way out of the basement and reunites with Manny, who has come searching for Augusta. Manny is devastated to see her body, and at last understands that everything Haley does is to protect the family. Back at the farm, Galen carefully makes his way upstairs just as Rainey shuts all the blinds and kills the lights. Using the darkness to his advantage, Galen eliminates the intruders. When Rainey restores the lights, he stands over their bodies, badly wounded but victorious. Meanwhile, Haley and Manny find Dawn with the three teens. When Dawn learns her aunt is dead, she breaks down in grief. At the farm, Galen carries Danis to the basement before collapsing from blood loss. His daughters frantically stabilize him. Checking CCTV, Rainey sees two intruders outside pouring gasoline to burn the house down. But injured, Galen insists he can still fight and tells her to let them inside. Moments later, Haley and the teens approach the farm when a hail of bullets erupts. Haley orders Manny to take the kids to the basement while she faces the attackers. Inside, Rainey allows two cannibals in and tricks them by showing Danis unconscious, claiming she was shot. One cannibal presses a blade to Danis's throat while the other scans the area. Outside, Haley is shot but fights through the pain, killing several cannibals before her ammo dries up, forcing her to flee. In the basement, one of the cannibals discovers a door leading to a room full of ammunition and a cabinet of rare spices and herbs. Before she can react, Galen rises and shoots her dead. At the same time, Danis stabs the second cannibal and Renee finishes him with a bullet. Moments later, Manny arrives with Doan and the rescued teens. Rainey is frustrated to see Doan back, but Doan ignores her and tends to the critically wounded Galen. Realizing Haley is still in danger, Manny rushes out again. Outside, Haley limps towards the barn but is cornered by the last three cannibals. Despite her injuries, she kills two with the blade before the third stabs her in the back and overpowers her. Just as he prepares to finish her, Manny appears and shoots him dead. He runs to Haley begging her to stay awake, but she succumbs to her injuries, leaving him sobbing over her body. Days later, the children work together to set the table for lunch. Suddenly, Haley appears, limping down the stairs, alive, but scarred. The family gathers around, sharing a quiet meal, as Haley looks on with love and pride. And with that, friends, this story comes to an end. Tell us in the comments how you liked the explanation. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel.